Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be at Metro Maples, a Japanese maple nursery out in Fort Worth, Texas. This is a local Japanese maple nursery that I have been shopping at for many years. I have bought so many different types of cultivars, and today's video is going to be different from my indoor tropical house plant, my big box store plant shopping. I really wanted to highlight Metro Maples. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video. It definitely helps push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. And hopefully I can get people that are into indoor tropical plants to start collecting Japanese maples as well as Satsuki Azaleas. As always, also follow me on Instagram at GrowFolds. I would love to connect with you guys. Send me a direct message. But before we do that, plant foldies, have you ever heard of this new soil called Classy Rabbit, which is from a local small business out in McKinney, Texas? Really excited to share with you this new soil, which is 100% organic. What I love about it is that this is a standalone type soil. You don't have to mix orchid bark or other amendatives that actually make this soil chunky. It is already chunky, light, and fast draining. You can use it to improve your existing soil. What I also like about it is they are made by farmers, so they don't really consult like soil scientists or whatever that means. They really know what Mother Nature has in the soil. And what I like about it is I've been able to pot up a lot of my plants from overseas, and they have really acclimated to this soil. I love the fact that, again, it is 100% organic, and the ingredients that we have would be rabbit manure, composed food waste, pine bark chips, mycorrhizae, dried molasses, pumice, and expanded shale, rice hulls, and yucca extract. So all of those ingredients really make this soil. It is balanced, and what I love about it is Classy Rabbit products are simple where it counts, smart where they matter. So that means all of the ingredients that the soil needs, it's right there. They don't need to add anything else, and they don't offer anything that they don't need. I also love the fact that Classy Rabbit is priced well, where it's a happy medium between the low prices of cheap, and when I say cheap, quality, and the high prices of unnecessary ingredients. It kind of balances it both. And if you see right here, I potted this Aglaonema up in a terracotta planter. You can see how fast draining it is as I put a bunch of water into the soil. You can see that it is literally just draining through, but just because it's fast draining, it doesn't mean that it doesn't retain moisture. It definitely does. But I love the fact that I don't have to worry about adding any perlite, because this particular soil doesn't have perlite. It has all natural ingredients. So for those that have never heard about Classy Rabbit, please go to classyrabbit.com. I highly endorse this soil. I love it so much. And even though I've been doing semi-hydroponic substrates like Lechuzapon and Leca, I've actually been converting all of my plants back to soil because of this particular soil. They do offer free shipping at classyrabbit.com. Let me know in the comment section if you're interested, and hopefully you will support Classy Rabbit. I mean, have you pooped on your plants lately? I would. And you can see it is a gorgeous morning out at Metro Maples. I am really excited to actually make a trip here. I do an annual trip every year to go visit Scott Hubble and his team. Of all the people who love these Japanese maples, this is actually a hidden gem. Not a lot of people know about this nursery, but I love to visit around this time of the year, sometime in late March, when all of the Japanese maples have started to really unfurl their leaves, and you will see some beautiful Satsuki Azaleas. For those that don't know, I actually love all types of plants, whether it's indoor tropical plants, which is really the bulk of my content on this YouTube channel, but I love all things Japanese. I love the Japanese culture, and you will see today how refined these Japanese maples are. They have so many different cultivars, and so we're going to take a look at that slowly, and we're going to take our time today and really enjoy this morning stroll through Metro Maples. And here's the thing, I will be referring to a lot of the cultivars as Acer Palmatum. They've also got Acer Palmatum dissectums, which are more of the lace leaf type maples. I will try my very best to get the cultivar name as a plant ID because I really want people to go out and visit Metro Maples. I really want to support this local business here. Scott has always been so kind to me over the years. I ended up getting one of his cultivars that they popularized, which is actually an Acer truncatum fire dragon, and that's a different type of species. It's not a Japanese maple, but for now I will just be walking around and showing you all of these plants. I'm gonna have very minimal background music because I feel like today would be a day where we can just really practice mindfulness and really just listen to Mother Nature, all of the sounds of the birds. And I do go here really early in the morning. I got here right at about 7:45, so it's just sunrise, and just look at the lighting of here. In the comments section, please leave in the comments what Acer Palmatum or Japanese maple cultivars you have, if you're actually interested, if you have any questions about the care tips. I know that my zone is 8B, and for the most part, Texas, or at least North Texas, I'm able to grow a lot of these Japanese maples. The only thing is the majority of them need protection from the afternoon sun, the hot afternoon sun. A lot of them prefer to be in shade. If you're able to provide those types of environment for it, then you will be able to grow Japanese maples. Now, being in Texas, it is going to be very hot, and they don't do as well in the heat. But as you can see right over here, we've got one of their own cultivars. This is actually an Acer truncatum super dragon. This was a cultivar that was discovered and patented in this nursery. So when I mention cultivar, for those that don't know, cultivar is basically a plant that is propagated from the actual mother plant, and it is a mutation of the plant. So basically, you can't grow a Japanese maple from seed and actually have it be the same as the parent. You would have to graft the actual plant, and that's the difference between a lot of the plants that we talk about, is the fact that you have to have these plants either grafted, or if you want them to be the same as their parent, like this Mikawa Yatsubutsa, for instance, this one would need to either take a cutting and propagate it from a root, from a cutting, and then root it from there, or actually graft them. The easiest and fastest way to get a cultivar to take is actually through grafting, and that is actually a skill that I have yet to learn. But as you can see right here, this is one of the more popular Japanese maples. This is a Mikawa Yatsubutsa, and when you think about those tropical trending plants like the anthuriums. So anthuriums are one of the more popular tropical plants. The Mikawa Yatsubutsa, this one right here, has really tight, compact leaves. This is one that a lot of Acer or maple collectors really gravitate to, and I can see why. But as you can see right here, it is so peaceful, and I'm just going to walk you through this garden as well. You can see that they've got a koi pond, and a lot of the trees are just starting to leaf out. It's not full peak yet. And so I'm just going to walk here, and hopefully you guys enjoy this little koi pond with all of the beautiful koi and just all of the surroundings of different types of maple trees. We're now approaching a famous Acer truncatum, also known as a Shantung maple. These maples are native to China and are very heat tolerant. So as compared to the Japanese maple, Acer truncatums or Shantung maples can take full sun and are very much drought tolerant, and they can take the extreme heats of Texas. This Acer truncatum, known as the fire dragon, is actually a cultivar that was found through a seedling, obviously, at this nursery. tree. What makes this the fire dragon is the fall colors actually on an Acer truncatum or a Shangtong maple is typically yellow, but that one actually has a fiery red one. And you know, a little bit about that fire dragon Shangtong maple. I ended up buying one when I first bought my house out in North Dallas about 6 years ago, and I remember buying it as a 10-inch gallon planter. It was literally just a lopsided twig, and now it has become a full-blown beautiful tree. I am hoping that my Acer truncatum fire dragon actually gets larger and larger and will be able to provide some protection for more Japanese maples. And that's really the goal of having Shangtong maples in my backyard, is because I want to have that shade to where I can actually grow many different cultivars. And then you can see right over here, this is another beautiful Satsuki Azalea. What I love about Satsuki Azalea is you can see that there's different types of variegation. It's almost super random how they populate. And the thing about it is these azaleas are very thirsty plants. They prefer more acidic soil. They definitely need protection from the hot afternoon sun, so they prefer more of a shaded area. And if you ever go to a big box store like Lowe's, Home Depot, or even Walmart, they have what they call the Encore azaleas, which are basically reblooming azaleas. The actual parentage of the Encore azalea actually comes from Satsuki Azaleas. Satsuki Azaleas have been part of the Japanese culture for several hundred years. They've already been cultivating and getting different types of cultivars. So like I said, again, this is a little bit different for my normal plant foldies. And for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. My name is Richie. I typically do daily big box plant shopping videos, but today we are going to be celebrating the beauty of Acer Palmatum or Japanese maples. This one right here, for instance, is a Acer Palmatum Tamahime. And you can see with this Acer Palmatum Tamahime how it literally hasn't gotten any taller than maybe 2 feet. It actually spreads across versus actually growing height. And I really love that. I mean, look at how beautiful the leaves are. And that is the reason why, you know, if you're going to get into Japanese maples or Acer Palmatum, it is a whole new world. And this is something that I wanted to share with a lot of the plant foldies. This is another interest of mine that I'm super passionate about, just as much as I'm passionate about indoor tropical plants. You will not be seeing any Costa Farms training tropical plants today. Instead, we will be looking at all of these different types of Acer Palmatum or Japanese maples. And here's the thing. These Satsuki Azalea, for instance, I don't know the plant ID for this Satsuki Azalea. Look at how beautiful this is. All of the majority of Japanese maples and Satsuki Azalea are actually either propagated in-house at Metro Maples or are grafted by Scott Hubble. He is an amazing Japanese maple enthusiast. He is a pro. He knows so much about Japanese maples. I've learned so much about him over the years. And when I talk about Japanese maple pricing, by far, and I say this without a shadow of the doubt, by far his Japanese maple pricing is the most inexpensive I've seen. And you know, with the economy we're at, with things just getting a little bit more pricey, just know that if you're going to buy a cultivar, a Japanese cultivar from him, they usually start at 1 gallon for only $25. Then he has, I think, his 5 gallons at $35, and then his 7 gallons at $45, which I think is amazing, because some Japanese maple nurseries, they actually price different cultivars differently. With Scott Hubble and the Metro Maple team, you can pick different types of cultivars and still pay, say, for instance, $25. It's the same thing with his 1 gallon Satsuki Azaleas. I will show you all of the 1 gallons. Now, the larger maples are going to be priced differently because they aren't necessarily his grafts, but the ones that are starters are definitely his grafts. And you can just see right over here, I will just continue to walk and show you different types of Japanese maples and also the Satsuki Azaleas. Please leave in the comment section what you think, and if you intend to travel to Metro Maples, if you live out in Oklahoma or any neighboring states, a road trip would definitely be worth it. There's a lot of things to do. So if you're going to be in the DFW area, Metro Maples is a place you should definitely visit, especially around this time of the year in the spring as well as the fall. And I just want to highlight these gorgeous Satsuki Azalea again. Look at that beautiful bloom. And, you know, blooms like this really signify spring 2025. I love going to Metro Maples around this time of the year. I go every year to admire the beauty of the Satsuki Azaleas, all the different types of Japanese maples. And I really just find this area to be a place where I can practice mindfulness. There is definitely a Zen feeling about it, listening to the birds chirping, feeling that morning sun, and obviously talking to Scott Hubble and his team. They are very passionate people in terms of just cultivating and taking care of these Japanese maples and Satsuki Azaleas. My dream is to eventually get my backyard to look like this. I've been working on my backyard for many years to try to cultivate and get the Satsuki Azalea to actually take. The problem with Satsuki Azalea is that they do need protection from the afternoon sun. They don't do as well in very heated environments. If I get any of the information wrong about Satsuki Azalea, please feel free to chime in. I am by no means a professional when it comes to these types of plants. I tend to be a little bit more confident about the indoor tropical plants. But as far as Satsuki Azalea, my understanding is they have actually been in cultivation for at least 500 years in Japan. They are native to the mountains of Japan, and there are just so many different varieties. And so you'll see that they've come in many different colors, many different variegations. They've got different leaf patterns as well as just the blooms, just the blooms itself. I mean, take a look at the minute details of each one. I am actually going to be buying some Satsuki Azaleas just because my trees in my backyard have actually gotten a lot of new growth and are able to provide some more shade. That's really the problem of my backyard. When I first bought it 6 years ago, I had no trees, and now that all of my trees are starting to establish, they've started to get some more height, I'm able to start developing more of my garden. I would eventually love to have just a garden full of azaleas, different types of camellia plants, and gardenias, for instance. I mean, that is really my aesthetic when it comes to that type of garden. But you can see right here, this is really just very inspiring for me, and I'm just going to continue to walk around and show you all of the details. You'll notice that with Satsuki Azalea, they have smaller leaves, which really lends itself to the art of bonsai. So I will actually be buying, you know, at least 1 gallon Satsuki Azaleas that I will also make into bonsai, or at least pre-train them, or at least make them pre-bonsai to where I will eventually pot them up in their final bonsai pot. We'll see what that all looks like. I really need to do my research on it. The thing about it is, if you are planning on making azaleas into bonsai, you definitely want to make sure that you get a soil called kanuma, which is very acidic soil. That's just one way to really get the efficiency of the roots to take the nutrients. But let's just keep walking around here, and I'm going to take a little bit of time to show you this particular Satsuki Azalea. I wish I knew the plant ID, but what I do know is, look at how all of that pink really flutters around and just has that beautiful lighting that actually you know, just basically, I'm at a loss for words right now, basically just illuminates the blooms, and it's just so peaceful out here. I would say for those that are in love with azaleas, definitely invest in Satsuki Azalea. You can see that the blooms are definitely beautiful, very demure if you want to call it that, but I love the coloration on it. And the thing about it is Metro Maples is one of the few nurseries in the United States that actually has many different varieties of Satsuki Azaleas. Otherwise, you would either need to import it or find somebody that sells Satsuki Azaleas. These are not plants that you could just find at a big box store. And for me, it is all about supporting those local businesses. I love the fact that I live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is a treasure. This is one of those places, you know, Metro Maples, that if you just want to see a beautiful garden, if you want to see this in person, enjoy Mother Nature, this is definitely something that you need to put in your bucket list. So if you're going to make a road trip out to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Metro Maples should be on your top 3 list of places to go. I know that there's the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. They also have a beautiful Japanese garden there, but going to Metro Maples, you're able to see such beautiful cultivars, and it's not as busy, obviously, because here's the thing. Metro Maples is not necessarily open to the public unless it's on Saturdays. They have an open house. What you need to do is actually call them and get in contact with them to set up an appointment. And what I love about it is they will walk you through this nursery and tell you all about the Japanese maples. If you are interested in purchasing Japanese maples, they're going to really vet out what type of environment you're going to be putting them in, so you will be equipped with the specific cultivar that you can take home. Oftentimes, especially if you live out in the Dallas area, we have extreme summers, and so a lot of times you would end up just getting like maybe an Acer truncatum, unless you have that deep shade where you can grow these Japanese maples. And you'll see that these ones have been growing here for several decades. The drawback about Japanese maples is that they are extremely slow growing plants. I mean, here is another beautiful and large Mikawa Yatsubutsu. I would venture to say that this Mikawa Yatsubutsu must be around 30 to 40 years old. I'm not 100% sure. So for those that really know Metro Maples, and I know you guys are out there, there is a Maple Society out in Dallas, Texas. Hello to you guys. I definitely want to go make one of those meetings, but you'll see that that is a beautiful plant. And I'm just going to continue to walk around and show you all of the show Japanese maples that they have here. If you've made it this far into the videos, plant foldies, please make sure you are pressing the thumbs up or like button for this video. It definitely helps push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. And you never know, maybe you are into tropical plants. Maybe this video is going to inspire you to do some gardening. Spring is a perfect time to get in there and actually grow some plants outdoors. And for those that discover my YouTube channel, because you are a maple collector, a maple lover, maybe you might get into indoor tropical plants. Plant foldies, I just love connecting so many different types of people. And just know, if you like Japanese maple content, please, please, please leave that in the comment section below, because I can feature some of mine. I can make a little bit more frequent trips to Metro Maples. I mean, I am just taking a little bit more time, for instance, to show you this Mikawa Yatsubutsu. This is another phenomenal specimen. This isn't something that you would see normally at a garden center. I mean, this is a massive Mikawa Yatsubutsu. And like I said again, Mikawa Yatsubutsu, I would equate as like one of those like dock block anthuriums. For those that know about the indoor tropical plant craze, there is a huge and very passionate maple society. There are so many different types of maple collectors, and I am one of them. Now, I will say I did go a little crazy, and I had a maple plant addiction. Yes, we're talking about plant addictions again, but once you buy one cultivar, you're going to be addicted to buying multiple cultivars. For me, I've downsized my my collection because I didn't have the sustainability to be able to grow these plants. But as you can see right here, they've got some more Japanese maples that are just starting to leaf out. Unfortunately, I am not an expert when it comes to cultivars, so I'm going to try my best to actually put the plant ID for that. Now, if you are a maple aficionado, somebody that really knows your Japanese maples, please leave it in the comment section with a timestamp of the plant IDs. Here's my commentary about Acer Palmatum or Japanese maples. I just think that in terms of the growth habits of this plant, it has a very natural way of just being elegant. And when I say elegant, I mean look at the lobes of the leaves. They're sharp, or they have round leaves. I love the crimson colors, the maroons, and they just have a very elegant style about it. Even the trunks, the way the branches grow, I really love that. And as a kid, like I mentioned in some of my big box or plant shopping videos, I was really drawn to growing plants. Number one, because my grandmother taught me about plants at an early age, but also bonsai and just Japanese culture. You know, I call my YouTube channel Grow Folds. Grow is obviously highlighting the fact that I love plants, whether it's indoor tropical plants. And today I am showing you another passion of mine, which would be Satsuki Azalea, Japanese maples in general. Collecting maples is part of my passion. And then the art of bonsai. So bonsai, for those that don't know, is basically the art of container gardening or growing plants that are supposed to simulate a miniature tree in nature. And even Satsuki Azalea, if you've ever looked at Satsuki Azalea bonsai, they are a work of art, living works of art. I mean, you can see right over here, look at this beautiful one right here, just the white blooms on this particular azalea. Like I said again, with azaleas, the majority of them need to be in a shaded area. They prefer fast draining acidic soil. The more acidic the soil is, the better it is for these plants. And you know, if you have pine trees which actually have pine needles that fall on the ground, that is a natural way to actually give the soil a little bit more acidity. I wouldn't say that the soil out in North Dallas would be acidic. It's got actually more clay-like, so it's not really the ideal conditions for it. But if you ever want to make soil a little bit more acidic, one way to do it is to actually use coffee grounds and just sprinkle and mix it into your soil substrate. That's what I do. And the reason why it's important to actually have acidic soil is plants like that, or certain plants are more acid loving, which makes them be more efficient in taking up plant nutrients. And then you can see right over here, they've got a beautiful trident maple of some sort. I'm not sure what that cultivar is. And so, you know, you can look at Acer Palmatum or Japanese maple. In Japan, they call them momiji, or you can also look at trident maple, which they call kaeda in Japanese. So those are some more little tidbits about it. But let's go ahead and continue to walk around this beautiful garden, and then we can look at some of the 1 gallon, the small size pots. And you can even see right here, we've got rhododendron, and we've even got a small Satsuki Azalea right over here. Plant foldies, we're going to be looking at this particular Satsuki Azalea. What is really striking about it is if you look at the blooms, it's variegated. So they've got like pink blooms, white blooms with pink variegation, and they really do remind me of my variegated peppermint peach tree, which actually has very similar coloration on the blooms. So if I am able to find this cultivar today, I think Scott has it at $25 for a 1 gallon. I will definitely be buying it. I will buy it most likely to plant into the ground in my landscape right underneath my peppermint peach tree. I may go back and buy some more Satsuki Azalea. So just like how I love my Aglaonema plant, when it comes to Satsuki Azaleas or azaleas in general, I am definitely a collector of that. It's just that I haven't really shown that on my YouTube channel. But if you like this type of content, or if you want to see me diversify more of my passion into this type of content, please leave that in the comment section below. And again, I do encourage anybody that is out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to make an appointment to go to the Metro Maples Nursery out in Fort Worth, Texas, or come out on a Saturday. Let them know that you watch Richie's Metro Maple video. I definitely want to get some more social media presence for them. I would say Metro Maples doesn't necessarily have a big social media presence, I would say that they have an Instagram account, but if you want to go to metromaples.com, you can see the different types of cultivars they have, as well as things that, like, different articles that they've written in terms of how to take care of your Japanese maples. But I mean, as you can see right here, they've got some more Satsuki Azaleas. I just love the fact that this is a free place to go wander around and look at these plants. Since I've been going here for several years, the staff knows me, Scott knows me. He's actually gifted me a couple of Japanese maples over the years, and I just absolutely adore them. I am so thankful that I get to converse with Scott about his insights about that. And you know, when I visited him, when I filmed this video, I actually talked to Scott about the potential of tissue culturing maples, Japanese maples, and he mentioned that that is possibly something that's going to happen down the line. I mean, we look at a lot of the plants that we see for indoors, and that is definitely a huge trend when it comes to indoor tropical plants. But how about tissue culture when it comes to, say, specifically like Japanese maples or even these Satsuki Azaleas? Let me know in the comment section, especially for those that are big maple or Acer collectors. Let me know if you feel like that is going to happen in terms of tissue culture for Acer Palmatum or any types of maples. I've been told that Acer rubrum, which is basically the common red maple, is already in production for tissue culture. So let me know in the comment section. And then you can see right here, this is a reticulated Acer Palmatum. This is called Peaches and Cream. It's still starting to unfurl its leaves. I really love I guess the Japanese maple leaves, as it hasn't fully opened up. They just remind me of dancing butterflies. It's such a elegant looking plant. I mean, and if you look at the details of the leaves, I can see why there are people who have literally hundreds of different types of cultivars that I've seen from Japanese maples. And you know, as far as Metro Maples, I definitely buy a lot of my cultivars from there. But another place that I've bought plants from, or Japanese maples from, would have to be from the Nichols brothers, Matt and Tim Nichols of MrMaple.com. I did want to plug them as well, because I know that for those that end up watching this Japanese maple nursery walkthrough video, I already know you probably buy from MrMaple.com. They actually ship to many different states nationwide. Unfortunately, with Metro Maples, it's very old school in the way they handle their business. So definitely they don't ship any of these Japanese maples out nationwide. They just are not in that online business. And even their receipts are handwritten, which I really like. And like I said again, with the economy and things becoming more expensive, this nursery has existed for 30 years now. And so they are a reputable nursery. If you want sourced plants like this, plants that are grown in-house, you have to shop Metro Maples. That's just something that I stand by in terms of just the ethics behind their plants, and just knowing that you will get a healthy cultivar. And right over here, that red Satsuki Azalea, I believe is called Atali, which is actually maybe an American or Western introduction. It's not a full-blown Japanese Satsuki Azalea. I think so. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep walking around and highlighting the different types of blooms. Like I said, again, let me know in the comment section what you think, and enjoy all of these gorgeous blooms. I definitely am inspired to continue to upkeep my plants, and I'm actually going to be creating my Patreon page as well as my YouTube membership, where I believe that I'm going to go ahead and document my outdoor gardening content. It's going to be a little bit more personable as compared to my big box store daily plant shopping videos. But with spring around, I definitely want to touch base on another passion, which is Satsuki Azaleas, Japanese maples, bonsai, all of it. And let's just enjoy these beautiful blooms right here. The beauty of Mother Nature is really highlighted in the fact that these beautiful Satsuki Azalea Japanese maples are just so elegant and refined. And I really like this bird feeder. And if you notice, the leaves right on the leaf shape is actually a ginkgo tree. Metro Maples actually has many cultivars of ginkgo trees, which we'll be taking a look at in just a bit. But I cannot stop looking at all of these beautiful azaleas. I really hope that someday my garden will also look like that. I mean, you can see right here, this one I believe is a Acer Palmatum Summer Gold. And then we also have another type of Satsuki Azalea here. I'm really curious, especially for those that live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you visit Metro Maples often, I'm almost tempted to go visit Metro Maples again next week, because I was told by Scott that they will even continue to pot up even one more like 1 gallon liners of different types of Acer Palmatum. But I'm really more interested in the Satsuki Azalea, because again, if you're ever looking for azaleas, yes, you can find the Encore azaleas. Yes, you can find more of the Western azaleas and even rhododendron at big box stores. But when it comes to the more refined, the more elegant, the more dwarf varieties of these gorgeous Satsuki Azaleas, you can't find them unless you go to Metro Maples. And so I've heard of people even in Oklahoma or neighboring states making a road trip out to Metro Maples. Highly encourage it. So if you ever want to just find something like this where it's a Japanese garden but you don't have to pay an admission fee, I would definitely recommend that. You'll notice that Satsuki Azalea make a companion plant for Japanese maples. I really think that it's conducive to the same kind of look, having that understory tree and then just having those flowering shrubs like the azalea. And then we're going to be walking over here. So you can see right over here, we've got a large, beautiful specimen of a plant. Let's take a look at the plant ID here. It looks like this is another type of lace leaf Japanese maple of some sort. And I really love that it's got that crimson color of it. It's not a crimson queen, but it's still another plant. Now this one right here, I believe is actually sourced out from nurseries out in Oregon. That's the thing though, for the Pacific Northwest, these are the kind of gardens that the Pacific Northwest can actually grow, because their environment is a little bit more stable for these types of plants. But I mean, as far as Fort Worth, Texas, this is a hidden gem for sure. You can see this is an Acer Palmatum Troppenberg. This one is for $1,750, but it's already a fully established plant. Now, here's the thing about this particular cultivar. I actually bought this last year. I planted it as a 1 gallon plant, and now it's put on so much growth in just a year. It's a fast growing upright red Japanese maple, and I'm hoping that it will be able to tolerate some of the heat and take a little bit more sun. Now over here is a ginkgo for $450. This is the Mariken. I actually have 2 ginkgo biloba Marikens growing, one in my backyard right underneath my variegated peppermint peach tree, as well as one in my front yard. Now the thing I love about ginkgos is they also are a great companion plant for Acer Palmatum or Japanese maple. So that's another plant that I definitely would suggest adding into your plant collection as well. here is another type of Ginkgo biloba cultivar. This one is called a jade butterfly for $450. Here's the thing I will tell you about Ginkgo biloba. I love them as well. It is my favorite tree outside of a Japanese maple, and the reason being is I really love the leaf shape. And the cool thing about a Ginkgo biloba or a Ginkgo tree, it is a prehistoric dinosaur type tree. It is one of the oldest living types of trees out in the on planet Earth, if that's the case, because it almost became extinct, but apparently the Chinese were able to cultivate a couple of them and preserve it. There are two different types of Ginkgo bilobas. There's a male and a female one. Most of the Ginkgo biloba you will see that are on sale are usually male because they don't produce fruit. Now, a female Ginkgo biloba tree produces fruit, and the fruit, whenever it's broken, it actually has not the best smell. So that's a reason why a lot of places do not sell Ginkgo biloba female trees. It's usually a male selection. And then you can see right over here, this is just what you call a green Japanese maple or an Acer Palmatum. This is not a cultivar. This is literally a Japanese maple that was grown from seed. And you can see this one is for $450. So this one's in a 30-gallon container, and I've actually have two Acer Palmatum that I bought from a local nursery about 5 years ago called Callaways. I ended up buying them for $25, and over the years they have put on a lot of growth. So it's one of those things where if you're looking for a budget friendly, more vigorous type of Japanese maple, you can always just do a green seedling one. And then you can see right here Ginkgo biloba Saratoga for $495. So there's different types of Ginkgo varieties. I will say I have a couple of Ginkgo varieties in my my garden in my backyard. I have an autumn gold Ginkgo biloba that is about 12 feet tall now, maybe 15 feet tall. It's taken about 6 years for it to get that size, as well as a variegated Ginkgo biloba called a Sunstream, and it is variegated and it can take full sun. So I'm super excited about that. I have another Ginkgo biloba called Miss Clouds or something like that. It's another one that has a different type of variegation. And for those that are interested in seeing some of my Japanese maples and my outdoor garden, please leave that in the comment section if you're interested. Like I said again, I really love the engagement and your viewership. You hitting the like button and also leaving comments really helps push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. But as you can see right here, we've got different types of Ginkgo biloba cultivars, and Scott Hubble actually has the 1 gallon, 3 gallons, 5 gallon, and 7 gallon varieties that he grafts himself. Now, the Ginkgo biloba in general is a very slow growing plant. It's a lot slower than even Japanese maples, or maybe they have about the same growth. I guess the growth rate, let me know in the comments section. But they also make really good bonsai, and whenever you think about like a nursery like Metro Maples, this is definitely a bonsai lover's paradise. You can find so many pre-bonsai selections here. Now, a lot of people have their opinions about grafted Japanese maples or grafted plants being utilized as bonsai. My opinion is, if you find that the plant is beautiful, if it brings you joy, don't worry about whether it's grafted or not. Oftentimes we try to confine ourselves in these specific rules. Now, if you want one that's non-grafted, the cool thing about it is Scott actually has plants that were rooted from cutting, so it's not a non-grafted type Japanese maple, and it is a Acer Palmatum. So that's something I will be picking up. I'm thinking about doing some Japanese maple bonsai again. I'm thinking about this year actually getting into the realm of bonsai. Let me know in the comments section if you would like to see that process. But as you can see right here, I'm just going to be walking around and showing you the different cultivars. The majority of these trees are going to be the larger forms, and then eventually I will go to the 1 gallon, 5 gallon, and 7 gallon ones that Scott himself actually propagates and grafts. So enjoy all of the different types of cultivars. I will show their plant IDs as best as I can. And if you have any questions about Metro Maples, leave that in the comments section. I will try to actually answer then, and if I can't get an answer, I will definitely reach out to Scott Hubble and see if he can get some answers for you. But like I said again, please, 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 if you get a chance, definitely visit this nursery. It is amazing, highly recommended. One of the best Japanese nurseries, I would say, in the entire country. So this is definitely, I would even say, a tourist spot if you want to call it that. But it is a place where if you love collecting maples, this is a place that you need to go. They do offer other maple varieties versus Acer Palmatum or Japanese maples. They've got Trident maples. They've also got Acer Oliverianums, I think that's how you pronounce it, and other different types of maples as well. But you can see here, we've also got another Mikawa Yatsubutsa. This one is for $575, but for me, that is still such a good price considering you don't have to wait years and years, over a decade, to get that size of a Mikawa Yatsubutsa. That's something that I would love in my backyard. I do have a Mikawa Yatsubutsa seedling that I ended up buying a couple years back from MrMaple.com. So as you can tell, I am a maple collector. For those that are learning that about me in this video, I hope that you can actually check out some of my other Metro Maple videos. I do have a playlist, so if you want to see the years I've come back and actually filmed it, I do have a playlist for Metro Maples. I just feel like creating YouTube videos featuring local nurseries and small businesses, or just local businesses in general, it's super important. Despite the fact that I do big box or plant shopping videos, I think the majority of you guys find my plant content through that, but I would hope that I could broaden everybody's scope in terms of where else you can source out plants, where else you can support, where else you can actually celebrate and enjoy the plant folding community. I mean, we are growing at a fast rate, and if you do like this content, like I said again, plant foldies, please make sure you are pressing the thumbs up or like button for this video, number one. And then number two, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, because I do daily plant content, and who knows, I might actually have more Japanese maple, more bonsai content, definitely more origami content, because I felt like I fell out of that, and I really want to just evolve the Grow Folds plant folding community and get some more people involved. If you are somebody that really exclusively grows only indoor tropical plants, take a look at growing a Japanese maple. They are good for container gardening as well. You just have to do your research a little bit on your grow zone. So whether you have to like overwinter them or whatever that looks like. I will say Japanese maples will not grow well indoors, even if you grow them in a under a grow light. And the reason being is they need the seasonal changes. They need that sunset to lessen for them to go dormant. They need that cold weather to hit them, so that way they go dormant. This is Japanese maples are deciduous trees, and what I mean by deciduous is they actually go dormant, they drop all their leaves, and then they just reset and come back. And that's the thing I like about Japanese maples, is even though I've had some years where we had like 100-degree weather in the summertime, where we actually had a legitimate drought, where my Japanese maples literally were fried by the end of the season. But then spring comes around and they just reset. So that's a plus when it comes to that. But anyways, let me stop talking, because I know that I tend to ramble and talk a lot. That's just me, and you already know I like to be my most authentic self. But enjoy the sites of all of these Japanese maples. I will pull up their tags to show you which ones that are available for purchase. Obviously, the ones that have the pink ribbon have been sold. You'll notice about these mature specimens is that they have a very specific way in terms of their growth habit. Like this Acer Palmatum dissectum crimson queen, for instance, has this broom effect. It's definitely cascading. They call it a weeping type maple. Love this as well. And to get that reddish color, you can't put it in too deep of a shade. It still needs to get a lot of bright indirect light. Overstory or filtered light is what's going to really give you that reddish color. Love the crimson queen. I had one, but unfortunately it went to plant Japanese maple heaven. It just did not make it in through my care. And speaking of other dwarf varieties, I'm going to be looking at some more of these other plants here, but let's take a look at these crimson queens. And then we also have one that I have been eyeing for quite a while now, and it is a Acer Palmatum Rhode Island red, which is basically a dwarf variety because of the leaf shape and color of an Acer Palmatum bloodgood. So whenever you see the red type of Japanese maples, a lot of people will associate it as the common red Japanese maple, and that is really the bloodgood. But this one is the Rhode Island red, which basically has more of the Acer Palmatum or the palm-shaped leaves as compared to the Crimson Queen, where it has more dissectum or lace leaf. And that's another thing about these reddish varieties. They do need quite a bit of bright indirect light for them to hold the coloration. Obviously in Texas you're not going to be able to grow these out in full sun, but in places like the Pacific Northwest, I could see people actually growing these out in more light. I guess maybe the sun is not as intense, but if I were to buy one, I would end up buying this one like for $475 because it's instant gratification. You can see that it's got a beautiful broom-like shape to it, and when the leaves finally come out, it looks like a miniature version of an Acer Palmatum bloodgood. And you know, as far as those that have been watching this video so far, I really hope you're enjoying my walkthrough. This is definitely different than my typical big box or plant shopping video, but hopefully you will find some inspiration to do outdoor gardening and really get into the wonderful world of collecting and growing Acer Palmatum or Japanese maples, or if you are an avid Japanese maple collector or just an Acer collector in general, hopefully you will buy from Metro Maples, take a trip out here, take a road trip out here. If you're flying into Dallas, plan to go visit Metro Maples. Right now is the time to do so because all of the beautiful spring colors are coming around. And I mean, you can see right here, beautiful Acer Palmatum Rhode Island red. And you can see we've got some Acer Palmatum Shishigashira, which is also known as the lion head Japanese maple. I had one of these also in my care, but unfortunately it made it to Japanese maple plant heaven. It is no longer with me, but it is a beautiful plant. And then I currently have one of these, and I ended up buying a Acer Palmatum Murasaki Kiyohime. This one is for $395, but look at how beautiful that broom shape is. I bought mine for $95. It was in a 5-inch container, a 5-inch gallon container, or 5-gallon container is what I mean to say. And I've had it for about 6 years growing, and it has gotten to that size. Really love the look of it. Now mine ended up getting a little bit of fire damage because it got a little hot, and then we were actually burning or doing something in the backyard where it ended up actually overheating some of the leaves, and they ended up burning. The thing about Japanese maples is that their leaves are very delicate. I mean, if you look closely at the leaves, they're very fine, and they just don't do well with heat, and that's really the nature of it. But you can see that that is such a beautiful cultivar as well. And then this cultivar right over here we're looking at has let's see what it is. This one is a Hanami Nishiki, for Acer Palmatum, a Hanami Nishiki, and you can just see even the new leaf growth has a little bit of red on the points of the actual Japanese maple, and that's what makes this type of plant collection very interesting because of the leaf shapes, the different types of cultivars. So it's not like indoor tropical plants where we're having to grow have humidifiers, grow lights. These ones are very much so influenced by the environment that they're in. And if you do visit Metro Maples, you can ask any of their team. You can ask Scott about any of the care tips, what he would recommend, what they would recommend in your space, and you should be good to go. But like I said, all of the different types of growth habits, you can see that there are some that are upright, there's some that are weeping, there's some that really cascade really deeply, and that's what makes it so interesting for Japanese maples. I mean, just making a trip out here has really inspired me to go back into my outdoor gardening. You know, I go from phases where I'm really into a specific plant and then a specific type of plant, a specific way of growing a plant. I am back in my element in terms of my original love for plants, which really stems from bonsai and just the Japanese culture. So we'll just keep walking around here. Hopefully you're enjoying this walkthrough. I want to keep it as detailed as possible and really take the time to just show you what Japanese maples are available for purchase at Metro Maples Japanese Maple Nursery. You can see right over here, we've got a little Japanese maple seedling, Acer Palmatum seedling. You never know what this seedling might end up growing. It could become a new cultivar. That's really how you get the different types of cultivars. It really comes from these different types of seedlings where they have a different type of mutation, a different type of like growth habit, or even a certain type of variegation or bark interest. Once that seedling grows to a viable size, that's where they take scion and actually grafted into a rootstock, which is typically an Acer Palmatum or a Japanese maple green seedling. That's how they grafted into it, and you also get all of these cultivars. But let me keep walking around here and just showing you the larger plants. And now we're looking at some of their gallon selections right here. We are going to be looking at some of these Satsuki Azaleas. Again, for the 1 gallon potted up Satsuki Azalea, they're only $25. And then they just go up a little bit in price. You can see right over here, this one is a Satsuki Germanique. Really love this one. I was actually gifted a Satsuki Germanique by Scott a couple years back. Unfortunately, mine didn't end up actually living for a long time just because I did not put it in the right conditions for it to grow. So I will be buying a 1 gallon version. I'm either thinking of putting it into the ground or making a Satsuki Azalea bonsai. I haven't really made up my mind on it, but you can see right here, look at that beautiful variegation. And like I said, in terms of finding Satsuki Azaleas, you will not find that in a garden center. You would not find it even at a local nursery unless you go to Metro Maples. This is a place where all of these Satsuki Azaleas were actually propagated by Scott Hubble and his team himself, and I'm just glad that they are increasing the numbers of Satsuki Azaleas. Some of these are really not even in cultivation anymore, so these are more of the rare and unusual ones. Love this as well. I love the fact that the blooms really do remind me of my variegated peppermint peach tree. Definitely do an online search and you will see what I mean in terms of the blooms. Love that variegation, and you can see that he's got the larger size versions as well. I believe the larger ones might end up being $45, but if you want that instant gratification, I would go ahead and do so. And then this Satsuki Azalea right over here is a Satsuki Azalea Tally. I will definitely buy the 5-inch gallon one or the 5-gallon one for $45, which I think is still such a good deal considering this is a beautiful fiery red tone. You saw earlier in the video how it can grow and how big it could get. I definitely want to get one of these because it is definitely going to be a showstopper. I would definitely grow this underneath maybe my Acer Truncatum or my Shantung Maple Fire Dragon because it will definitely get some shade. This one would definitely need some shade or some filtered afternoon light. It cannot be out in full sun. I would not recommend recommend putting it in a south-facing garden where it's getting intense light. I know for a fact that it would definitely fry in this Texas weather, but let's just keep looking at these Satsuki Azaleas. You can see that he's got lots of smaller sizes, which make very good pre-bonsai. So I may end up actually making a video of me making these into bonsai. Let me know in the comment section, plant foldies, if you're interested to see that content. And for those that have made it this far into the video and have continued to watch it, I really appreciate that, because I know that this is typically not my niche. I typically do big box store plant shopping videos, but I feel like I should continue to diversify and show more layers of my plant interest, because this is really a big part of my interest as well in plants. And you can see that this one is another type of Satsuki Azalea. It's got a Japanese name. And care tips for Satsuki Azalea: you want fast draining soil, acidic soil, filtered light. Morning sun is the best, and that's basically it. Make sure that you keep them hydrated, especially when you first plant them in the ground. They are very much thirsty plants. If you let them dry out completely for too long, they will not do well. They will actually revolt and probably end up finding a way to plant heaven. So don't do that. Otherwise, you will be blessed with so many beautiful blooms like this. And plant foldies, you can see that that was the selection of some of the Satsuki Azaleas. Now I'm just going to be walking around showing you some more of their 1 gallon plants. You can see right over here all of these plants that are in 1 gallon and 5 gallon plants. This one right here is the Acer Truncatum Fire Dragon, which I have. Love this plant. It can get up to heights of 25 to 30 feet in height. It is super durable and it can really handle the Texas heat. But these have all been sold to a specific garden. I think they come there year after year. And then you can see right over here, we've got different types of cultivars. I'm just going to show you the cultivar name. This one is an Acer Palmatum Abigail Rose, for instance. This one has that pink variegation when it leaves out. The thing about it is this is really sensitive to heat. So for this particular Acer Palmatum or Japanese maple, it's not always going to be the best selection. And then over here are all of the Japanese maples that are not grafted, meaning these are actually from rooted cuttings that Scott Hubble was able to get. So these would make perfect pre-bonsai. I'm really tempted to buy a couple. These are all in 1 gallon planters for only $35, which I think is such a good deal considering that these plants are not grafted. Again, a lot of people go by the rule that, grafted Japanese maples are not to be bonsai. But for me, if you want to do that, I say go for it. Like this one right here is a really good, just non-grafted Acer Palmatum Seru for only $35. Like, I think that is amazing. And the Acer Palmatum Seru is actually one of the dissectum or lace leaf type Japanese maples where it's not a weeping. It's actually an upright Japanese maple, and it could tolerate a little bit more heat, a little bit more sun as compared to more of the lace leaf varieties. So I'm just going to walk around and show you the different types of maples that were actually from rooted cuttings. I will be buying an Otohime today just because I do intend on making it into a little shohin bonsai. So we'll see what that looks like. But if you are somebody that loves bonsai and you are a local in the DFW market, or if you are traveling to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you want plants, you can actually take these plants on a plane. You just have to either carry them or check them in. Like I said, if you haven't watched my video from the PlantCon 2025 Orlando video, I was able to take plants domestically to another state. So if you're going to be traveling international, that's not going to be possible. But if you are flying into Dallas and you want to get a bunch of these plants, you can definitely put them in your luggage, check them in, or bring them as a hand carry. It is definitely possible. And with the plant pricing for these starters, I think it is amazing. And I hope that this video brings more awareness to Metro Maples, because I feel like, you know, more social media presence will definitely get some people talking, get some more people excited. And I mean, look at this. This is just an awesome type plant. For my plant foldies, or what I call my super plant foldies, my question for you is, have you actually considered growing Japanese maple since watching this video? If you have, please leave that in the comments. I would love to have that segment of our community be also into bonsai and Japanese maples. So like I said, again, beautiful plants. These are all rooted cuttings, which I think is amazing. And I am part of the, I guess my passion is what I'm trying to say about bonsai is been reinvigorated. I'm definitely inspired. I'm definitely ready to start tackling that again. I took a break for about 4 years, but with just the plant community being so kind to me and the engagement you guys have given to me, I want to go back to my initial roots, which is Japanese maples and bonsai. I could post a couple of pictures on my Instagram of some of my old bonsai. We'll see what that looks like. And then you can see right over here, this is an Acer Palmatum butterfly. And I'm actually tempted to buy one of these because it's a variegated Japanese maple. And like I said, again, it is not grafted, meaning if I were to make it into a bonsai, I would suppose that the value of the plant is going to be a lot more versus a non-grafted plant. To me, I don't really care as long as the graft on the Japanese maple isn't as apparent. And as the I guess Japanese maple actually matures, the graft becomes less and less noticeable. But you can see right over here, I have never seen a rooted cutting of this actual cultivar. It's got yellowish colored leaves, and the thing about it is, with the yellow colored leaves, they are definitely more susceptible to burning. You don't want to put it out in too much sun, but at the same time, it still needs the light for it to hold on to that yellow plant. So just like the tropical plants that are neon colored and yellowish, they need that light to really maintain that coloration. And then you can see right here, trident maple right over here. These are all of the pre-bonsai. So these are the bonsai or trees that are actually in training pots that eventually will be ready to be potted up in a shallow bonsai container. You can see right here, this is just an Acer Palmatum clump. This one is only for $145. You can see that it's starting to get some initial styling. It looks like they've chopped it off to where it's going to get a little bit more branching, but really love the clump look about it. And, you know, give it about a decade or so, and it's going to be a beautiful little forest. And then you can see right here, this one is actually a trident maple for $95. It's already in a bonsai type form. It would just need to be wired and shaped. But, you know, with trident maples, they are definitely able to grow in full sun. So they are not like Acer Palmatum or Japanese maples that need to be more in a shaded environment. Love the trident maple. It's a very fast grower. And then you can see right over here, let's take a look at this one. This is another a Mikawa Yatsubutsu seedling, and I am actually tempted to buy this because that would be such a cool little Japanese maple bonsai. Those are really conducive to that variety. And then I'm just going to keep walking around and showing you all their pre-bonsai, or, you know, plants that they have set aside to actually get into the first initial processes of growing into bonsai. They've also got Shimpaku juniper, which is a common type of juniper utilized to make bonsai. I mean, it's giving me Mr. Miyagi Karate Kid vibes over here. And then you can see that they've got some more pre-bonsai specimens of Satsuki Azaleas. Really love that. And you can see this one's a really tiny one. You can literally put that in a pot and start that up already. And you can see over here, I mean, just the blooms. Absolutely stunning. And this one is for $95. This is a larger Germanique Satsuki Azaleas. I mean, I would even spend that money because then I don't have to worry about trying to grow it out. And then this is another type of Satsuki Azaleas with no plant ID, so it's an unknown variety. But either way, for $95, it's already got some initial trunks. And we also have another type of trident maple here for $250. It looks like this is already got a pretty good nibari, which is the swelling of the trunk, the roots around the trunk. So really like that. And you know, as far as Scott Hubble, who is the owner of this nursery, he is super approachable, super kind. You can ask him a million and one questions about these plants and he will definitely have an answer. And that's the reason why every year I go to Metro Maples, for the fact that I find tranquility. It is a peaceful Zen experience and you get to see all of this beauty. So I'm just going to walk around and continue to show you the plants and all of the different types of Japanese cultivars, Japanese maple cultivars. Let me know in the comment section which ones you would buy. And all of the 1 gallons are only for $25. That is insane, but I love the fact that they have very competitive plant pricing. So if you want to start a collection, it's very easy to get so many varieties for a cost-effective price. So Metro Maples is actually a nursery known for its extensive cultivar selection of Shantung maples, or what you call Acer truncatum. A lot of the new selections were actually found at this nursery. They've got the more notable ones like Acer Palmatum. Acer truncatum, Super Dragon, which they have right over here. It's got more of that neon yellowish color. They've got Acer truncatum Fire Dragon. They've also got Acer Palmatum Baby Dragon, and they've got a variegated creamish white Acer truncatum Sugar Baby, Sugar Dragon. So I love the fact that all of the Acer truncatums are called some type of dragon. I could definitely see the reason why, because all of these Shantung maples or Acer truncatum, again, are very heat tolerant, drought tolerant, so they can even take the Texas heat. And then you can see right here, all of these are a bunch of Acer Palmatum, or just Japanese maple green seedlings. So these are not cultivars. These were actually grown from seed, and those are actually the stock that they use as an underroot to graft plants like this one right here. You can see that this one is more of a yellowish gold color Japanese maple, and you know, for the price, this Ueno Yama for only $25, that is not a bad price at all. I mean, even though it's grafted, that would be really cool to start as a bonsai. I am just really excited to finally make a trip out to Metro Maples. I am thinking about going out here again, and like I said, plant foldies. And for those that love Japanese maples, please let me know in the comment section if you want to see more of this type of content. Definitely share this on any Facebook groups that celebrate Japanese maples. I really want to make sure that people are aware of Metro Maples nursery out in Fort Worth, Texas. It is one of the best Japanese maple nurseries because, number one, all of these plants are grafted, or the majority of them are grafted in-house. There are certain unique cultivars that have been created, and they just have different types. Like this one right here is an Acer Subodiatum Komoi Nishiki. This one I was actually wanting to buy, and I totally forgot to pick this up when I left. I ended up getting an Acer Palmatum Rainbow, but I meant to get this one as well because this particular Acer Subodiatum is actually a hybrid of two different types of Acer or maple families. I really love that it has that variegation as well. Now, as summertime hits, it becomes a little bit more green. It doesn't hold on to that variegation, but needless to say, what a beautiful plant. Now, Acer Subodiatum, correct me if I'm wrong, is actually the Korean maple. Let me know if that is true in the comment section. If not, feel free to correct me. I will not be offended, because it has been a while since I've gotten into my maples before. And you know, what's interesting is before I knew about Metro Maples, I shopped often at mrmaple.com, which I still would do so. And I remember tuning in every Tuesday to see their new tree releases. But if you are a local person out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you would definitely want to just come out here and do that. So we'll see what all of that looks like in terms of just shopping for these plants. I'm going to keep walking around over here and I'll keep showing you the different types of cultivars of Japanese maples. Again, these ones are in the 1-gallon liner pots for only $25, which I think is such a good deal because on average, whenever you buy a 1-gallon Acer Palmatum or Japanese maple online, typically they go for $45, and then you have to pay for shipping versus just making a road trip out to Metro Maples. I would say you could just buy like 10 1-gallon Japanese maples and you can start yourself off with a nice collection of Japanese maple starters. They do take a little while to establish, but once they start to establish, they're going to do very well. I would suggest planting them in the ground versus taking care of them in the 1-gallon pots, or at least that's just my opinion, because I found that over the winter sometimes it could actually freeze it up to the point where maybe the plant didn't go fully dormant and may not root back up. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I always say that growing Japanese maples in the ground is a lot easier because then you don't have to worry about watering it as frequently. The ground alone will retain that moisture versus having to really time it. The thing about it is you can also overwater a Japanese maple. They don't want to stay in soggy soil for sure, but they also want to remain fairly moist. They are a pretty thirsty plant as well. So as far as just the care tips for Japanese maple, I would definitely say do your research. Definitely watch other Japanese maple collector videos. I am definitely not an expert, but you know, the purpose of today's walkthrough is just to show you the beginnings of a restock at Metro Maple. So you'll see that they have a couple of these 1-gallon planters. However, in the next couple weeks, they're really going to amp up the restock. So I am curious to see what this will look like in about a week or two. But you can see that they have so many cool looking varieties of Japanese maples. Let me know what cultivars you're actually interested in, or if you grow Japanese maples, do you actually do bonsai? Like I said, I love meeting and learning more about my viewers and subscribers. The plant folding community is in an awesome, positive community. And so share your thoughts, share your insights, and definitely support Metro Maple. So let's just keep walking around here and seeing what maples we have available for sale. So I do gravitate toward more of the red varieties. When you think about a Japanese maple, oftentimes we really associate it to that crimson red color, but we're going to look at some of these Japanese maple seedlings. But take a look at this. So this is labeled as an Acer Palmatum or Japanese maple seedling, but you can clearly see that there is some type of mutation happening as compared to all the other ones. You can see that there is that pink variegation. It's definitely not grafted, so this is definitely a seedling, and this is only for $35. Now, I wanted to purchase this. I could have purchased this, but I felt like this is a plant that if these the variegation stays stable, that they need to go ahead and graft this and cultivate this. So I didn't expect to go do a Japanese maple walkthrough tour of Metro Maples to find a mutation on a seedling. So this one is actually a fairly established one. You notice that a lot of those new growth actually has that. So what I told Steve as well as Scott Hubble is that I would just have them hold that Japanese maple, let it grow for a growing season, and see if Scott can actually graft from it and see if that new growth will actually push out like the Higashiyama type Acer Palmatum variegation, that pink variegation. And they did say they would call it Acer Palmatum Richie. So I thought that was super exciting. I would definitely love to have a cultivar named after me. I mean, I just, got lucky and found it by chance, but for it to be sitting in a sea of different green Japanese maple, that is a prime example of how these cultivars are discovered. There literally is a mutation, a new growth habit, a different type of coloration, whether it's neon or just the new flushes of growth. That's what cultivars are found for. And hopefully we can see about getting that as a new cultivar that was found at Metro Maples, and if they would actually name it after me, Acer Palmatum Richie or Acer Palmatum Growfolds, that would be awesome. Please leave it in the comment section what they should call that cultivar if it actually stabilizes. I was really excited. I thought about purchasing it, but then I thought about my conditions at my place. I would hate to waste a potential new cultivar because I didn't have the right growing conditions for it. You can see right here, this is the Acer Palmatum Rainbow. I'm going to end up buying one of these because I'm either thinking of putting it in the ground or growing it as a bonsai. This is a red on red or red on pink variegation. And the thing about it is this particular cultivar, though, is a little bit finicky. You have to prune it back to maintain the variegation. Otherwise, it may end up actually reverting all the way back to that maroon greenish tone versus the pinks and reds. But I do love the Acer Palmatum Rainbow. It is a fairly fast growing Japanese maple as well. So we'll see. And I mean, only for $25, that is probably the most inexpensive Acer Palmatum Rainbow that you will find out in the market. And this is the reason why I always am honest with you guys when it comes to plant pricing, whether it's indoor tropical plants at a big box store or whether it's refined, elegant Acer Palmatum or Japanese maples. You already know, I pretty much know what the market pricing should be or what is currently. And that's the reason why, like I said again, if you like this kind of content, please make sure you are pressing the thumbs up or like button for this video. If you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate your viewership. I tend to make longer content video. That's just what I like to do. And for you to stay engaged this long, really appreciate that. And for those that don't know, there is a way to leave a monetary tip for any YouTube content creator in the form of what we call a super sticker or a super thanks. So on the bottom right hand corner of your screen, there should be a dollar sign. You can press that and you can enter an amount if you wish to do so. Obviously, do not feel obligated to, but I know that people have reached out to me in the past and even currently on ways to support the channel through a monetary tip, and that is one way to do it is through a super sticker. Full transparency, it would definitely cover my gas mileage costs to drive around to these places, because North Dallas going all the way to Fort Worth is about an hour and 15-minute drive from where I am based at. And then, you got to think I got to go drive back, as well as just some of the other costs that it takes to produce these videos. So super sticker or super thanks, I would love to see somebody drop that if you are willing to do so. It definitely helps the channel out, and maybe I'll be able to buy another Japanese maple from Scott Hubble's nursery as well, because I do intend to come back here. But as you can see, it's not quite as full yet, but give it a little bit of time in this spring and you will see that. The crazy thing is, when I actually filmed this video, it got up to 90 degrees in Dallas and Fort Worth. So like I said again, the weather is crazy. Japanese maples don't really like that heat. They prefer that nice 70-degree weather. They like to be understory trees, and that's the reason why if I could just get the Pacific Northwest cool temperatures, I would totally love it. I would be able to grow a full-grown Japanese garden. But you can see this is the plant pricing here, and I would say again, $25, $35 and $45 for those gallon containers, the different sizes. This is probably the only Japanese maple nursery that has that pricing. I would even say that Metro Maples probably has the best pricing currently in the United States for a lot of these cultivars. So I would highly suggest anybody that's into Japanese maples, if you're willing to make a road trip, you can just buy a ton of different types of cultivars and just haul them in your truck, and then yeah, maybe there's a little bit of cost for the gas, but if you're willing to travel that far, I feel like you will get a decent amount of cultivars and Satsuki Azaleas, and you can see that the sprinklers have turned on to keep these beautiful plants hydrated, especially in a day where it is getting up to 90 degrees out in Fort Worth, Texas. So, plant foldies, what do you think about Metro Maples? For all of the maple lovers, maple collectors out there, do you want me to continue to go over here and do special features? I mean, you can see right here, we've got that Acer Truncatum Super Dragon. I definitely want to get one of these because that yellow color is absolutely breathtaking. And I'm just gonna walk a little bit more over here and then end this video. But like I said, again, enjoy the sights and sounds of this beautiful nursery out in Fort Worth, Texas. And I just can't get over how beautiful those Satsuki Azalea are. And I just wanted to go show you some of their Acer Truncatum, or what they call the Shantung maples. So if you live in an area that is super hot like Texas, where they get really hot summers, Shantung maple or Acer Truncatum is what I would suggest versus growing Acer Palmatum or the Japanese maple. What you can do is actually get one of these trees to get really large and then use Japanese maples to be planted as an understory tree. That way you can get some of that more filtered afternoon light versus direct sun. Super hardy. And, you know, as far as the Shantung maple, again, it is a Chinese maple. It is native to China, and it is one that's very vigorous in its growth. I love the fact that Metro Maples has been able to get so many new and different cultivars throughout the years, introduced to those that actually love maple collecting. I am one of them. That's something that plant foldies, you guys know. Now that is another element about me, and this is my haul that I ended up buying at Metro Maple. So you can see I got a Satsuki Azalea right over there. That is the Tilly. I ended up getting another type of Satsuki Azalea, the Germanique. Look at how beautiful this is. I'm really debating on whether to put that into my landscape or make that into bonsai. Now the three other Satsuki Azaleas, they're definitely gonna go into bonsai. I may end up going back to buy a another Satsuki Azalea Germanique because I want to plant it right underneath my peppermint peach tree, the variegated one. And then I've got a rooted cutting of an Otohime that is fully established that will definitely be going into a bonsai pot. I will do a separate video of my my haul from Metro Maples, my plant shopping haul. Hopefully everybody has enjoyed today's video. Please make sure you are pressing the thumbs up or like button for this video, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel at Growfold with all the notification bell on. I will have a brand new video out for you guys tomorrow and more future Japanese maple content soon. Have a good one.